Have you ever been in a quiet room, maybe sitting alone or lying in bed, and even though everything around you was calm, inside, it felt like you were falling apart? Like something heavy was pressing on your chest, even though nothing physical was there. Your mind running in circles, thoughts spinning like sharp pieces of glass. Maybe you smiled at someone earlier in the day, said you were fine, but deep down, something didn't feel right. There was an ache, invisible, but very real. That's emotional pain. It doesn't show up on a scan. You can't wrap it in a bandage or treat it with medicine from a cabinet. It hides in the mind, in the nervous system, and sometimes even in the body. A tight jaw, a heavy heart, an anxious stomach. And even deeper than that, it lives in the stories we've come to believe about ourselves, that we're not enough, that we're unlovable, that something's wrong with us. But here's the truth. You are not broken for feeling this way. You're not weak, and you don't need to snap out of it. You feel so deeply because your brain and heart were built to feel. You care, you love, you notice, and sometimes that means you carry pain, not because you're flawed, but because you're human, beautifully, vulnerably human. And the fact that you can feel this much, that's not a curse. It's a sign of how deeply alive you truly are. Understanding what emotional pain really is lays the foundation for how we can begin to respond to it differently. Emotional pain isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's not a weakness. It's actually your brain trying to tell you something important. Pain, whether it's physical or emotional, is a signal. It's your body's way of saying, something here needs attention. Something here needs care. Long ago, when humans were still learning how to survive in the world, pain played a big role in keeping us safe. If we got hurt, we remembered what caused it, so we could avoid it next time. That same system still works in our brains today. But here's what's interesting. Scientists have found that the brain reacts to emotional pain, like rejection or heartbreak, in almost the exact same way it reacts to physical pain. There's a part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex, and it lights up whether you've been physically injured or emotionally wounded. To your brain, a broken heart can feel just as real as a broken arm. Think about that for a moment. How we rush to help someone who's been physically hurt. We offer them care, rest, and support. But when someone is emotionally hurting, what do we often say? Get over it. You're too sensitive. Move on. One kind of pain gets attention and care. The other often gets silence. But that silence isn't healing, it's hiding. And if we truly want to heal, we need to stop ignoring our emotional wounds and start listening to what they're trying to say. Now that we see how emotional pain hides and affects us, it's important to look at how we've been conditioned to handle it. When we were growing up, many of us were taught to hide our pain instead of facing it. We were told things like, don't cry, be strong, or just get over it. Maybe you heard that crying meant you were weak, or that showing anger or sadness made you dramatic or difficult. So, without even realizing it, we started to hold things in. We learned to smile when we were hurting. We pushed our feelings deep down and tried to act like everything was okay. But hiding pain doesn't make it go away. It just buries it inside us. And what we bury doesn't disappear. It waits. It builds up quietly over time. It shows up in our moods, in our relationships, in the way we talk to ourselves. Sometimes we don't even know why we feel anxious, angry, or numb. But often, it's because of old pain we never gave ourselves permission to feel. There's a powerful quote by the psychologist Carl Jung. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." That means if we don't face the emotions and experiences we've hidden away, they'll still control us, just from the background. We might think we're making choices freely, but often we're being pulled by old wounds we never healed. The truth is, The more we avoid certain feelings, the more they shape who we become. What we don't deal with turns into patterns. Patterns of fear, overthinking, people-pleasing, shutting down, or pushing others away. So if we want to grow, if we want to feel free and whole again, we can't just keep hiding the pain. We have to gently turn toward it and begin to understand it. That's how real healing begins. Once we understand the damage hiding causes, we can explore how emotional wounds live on inside us. Have you ever wondered why certain emotional wounds, like feeling abandoned, rejected, or betrayed, seem to stay with us for years or even decades? Why just a word, a look, or a moment can suddenly bring back all those old feelings? It's not just in your imagination. Science shows us that emotional pain can leave lasting marks in the brain, especially when it's repeated or deeply painful. The brain has a part called the amygdala. It's like an internal alarm system that helps us stay safe by warning us of danger. But when we go through painful experiences, especially ones where we felt helpless or unloved, that alarm becomes more sensitive. It starts to react not just to what's happening now, but to anything that reminds us of the past. So, even if the people around us are kind, we might still pull away. Even when things are going well, we might expect something bad to happen. We may push love away because part of us is bracing for hurt. This doesn't mean we're broken. It means our brain, trying to protect us, is holding on to the memory of the pain. It doesn't realize the danger is past. The brain isn't trying to hurt us, it's trying to keep us safe. But sometimes the protection ends up becoming a prison. Healing begins when we understand that this response isn't our fault, and with gentle awareness, we can start to teach the brain a new message. It's safe now. You don't have to be on high alert anymore. Here's something powerful that many people don't realize. The brain can change. It's not stuck. It doesn't stay the same forever. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, and it means that even after pain, trauma, or years of repeating the same thoughts, the brain can form new pathways. In other words, the way you think, feel, and respond isn't permanently set in stone. It can be reshaped, like soft clay or the edge of a riverbank that slowly forms a new path over time. This is incredibly hopeful. It means that no matter what you've been through, your story isn't over. The patterns created by fear or sadness, the ones that once protected you, can be gently rewritten. Not through force, but through presence. By being kind to yourself, by facing your pain with courage, and by allowing compassion to take the place of harsh judgment, your brain and your heart can start to heal. And this is where healing goes beyond science. Because healing isn't just about chemicals and neurons firing in the brain. It's also about meaning. It's about asking deeper questions. Why did this pain come into my life? What has it shown me about myself, or others, or the world? What strengths did I have to find just to keep going? This is the path where pain meets purpose, where the soul begins to speak. The Stoic philosophers understood this long ago. They didn't believe in running from suffering. They believed in transforming it. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a Stoic thinker, once wrote, "The obstacle is the way." He meant that what blocks us is not there to stop us, it's there to shape us. The pain we try to avoid often carries the exact lessons we need. It's not just something to get over, it's something to grow through. Pain, when we're ready to face it with truth and love, becomes more than a wound. It becomes a doorway into a stronger, wiser, more honest version of ourselves. To understand this better, let's look at a symbolic reflection of emotional depth. Imagine someone who has their moon in Scorpio in the birth chart. Now, even if you're not into astrology, think of this as a symbol, a way to understand a certain kind of emotional depth. People with this placement don't just feel emotions on the surface, they feel everything deeply, like being pulled into the bottom of the ocean. The feelings aren't shallow waves, they're more like deep waters with hidden layers, strong currents, and quiet storms underneath. They often carry emotions they can't always explain. Sorrow that didn't start with them, pain passed down through generations, or wounds they picked up just by being so sensitive to the world around them. This kind of emotional depth can be overwhelming. It can feel lonely at times, because it's hard to explain to others just how intense things feel on the inside. But this depth is also a gift. It holds incredible strength. People with this kind of emotional nature often go through powerful inner transformations. They break down, they rebuild, and they rise again, like a phoenix from the ashes. Their journey shows us something important. Real healing doesn't happen when we stay on the surface and try to stay positive all the time. Healing happens when we're brave enough to face what we've buried, the hurt, the fear, the truth we've been afraid to feel. The underworld, in this sense, is a symbol for the part of ourselves we avoid, the dark corners, the memories we've pushed down, the emotions we've labeled as too much. But it's in that very place, the one we fear going into, where true transformation begins. And the only way to reach it is to go inward, to feel, to face, and to finally free ourselves from what we've been carrying all along. So how do we take that courageous first step toward healing? So how do we begin to heal? Not just cover up the pain, but truly move through it. It starts with something many of us were never taught to do. We honor the wound. That means we stop pretending it doesn't hurt. We stop pushing it down or distracting ourselves just to avoid it. Instead, we give it a name. We say, "Yes, this happened," or "Yes, I'm hurting." We sit with the feeling, even if it's uncomfortable. We don't rush it to go away. We simply allow it to be there. That one step, just being with the pain, sends a powerful signal to the brain. It tells the nervous system, you are safe now. You don't have to keep running or hiding. Over time, this kind of gentle presence actually starts to calm the part of the brain that reacts to fear and threat. The body begins to relax. The mind slowly learns that it doesn't have to stay in survival mode anymore. And once we've allowed the pain to be seen and felt, something beautiful happens. We begin to change the story we tell ourselves. We're not trying to erase the past or pretend it never happened, but we're also not letting it control who we are anymore. We stop seeing ourselves only as the one who was hurt, and start to see ourselves as someone who survived, someone who learned, someone who grew. Healing isn't about becoming a completely different person. It's not about fixing yourself or pretending to be happy all the time. It's about remembering who you really are, the version of you that existed before the pain made you forget your worth, the part of you that was whole, loving, and strong, long before the world told you otherwise. That version is still there. Healing simply helps you find your way back home to it. Many of us grow up thinking that we need to fix ourselves in order to feel happy, loved, or at peace. Like we have to become someone different, someone better, before we're allowed to rest. We tell ourselves, once I stop feeling this way, once I get stronger, once I heal completely, then I'll be okay. But the truth is, healing doesn't start with fixing. It starts with accepting. The most powerful thing you can do isn't to fight your pain. It's to listen to it, with openness instead of judgment. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" try asking, "What is this feeling trying to tell me?" Maybe the sadness is pointing to a part of you that feels forgotten. Maybe the anger is protecting something that was never respected. Maybe the fear is just trying to keep you safe, even if it's overreacting now. When we approach our pain with kindness and curiosity, it softens. It becomes less like a monster and more like a messenger. Emotional pain often shows up because something inside us needs attention, needs care, or needs truth. And many times, if we look closely, the message underneath the pain is love, a deep longing for connection, a quiet wish to feel seen, valued, and whole. But somewhere along the way, that love got tangled up in fear, shame, or silence. When we stop running from that pain, when we give it space to speak, we start to untangle it. We begin to understand that we're not broken at all. We're just carrying parts of ourselves that have been misunderstood and waiting for someone, you, to finally listen. You are not the worst thing that's ever happened to you. You are not your trauma. You're not the panic that takes over your chest when you feel overwhelmed, or the heavy shame that whispers lies in your mind. You are not the negative thoughts that come and go, even the really dark ones. And you're not the silence you sometimes fall into when words feel too hard to say. Those things may have touched your life, but they are not who you are. What you truly are is the one who notices all of that, the one who keeps showing up even on the hard days. You are the quiet awareness behind the pain, the part of you that watches, feels, and keeps going. You are the soul that has survived so much already, the part of you that has felt fear but didn't let it win. That's strength. That's resilience. That's you. Even when it feels like the storm has taken everything from you, your peace, your confidence, your sense of direction, there's still something inside that remains. The part that refuses to give up. The part that still hopes, that still loves, that still wants to heal. And that part of you is more powerful than all the pain you've ever carried. You are not your wounds. You are the one who is learning how to heal them. The next time your heart feels heavy, not just in your feelings, but also in your body, like a tightness in your chest or a sinking feeling in your stomach, take a moment to stop. Don't rush away from it or try to distract yourself. Instead, pause. Notice what you're feeling. Let yourself really feel it, even if it's uncomfortable. Take a slow, deep breath. This isn't about pushing the pain away or trying to fix it right now. It's about saying quietly to yourself, I see you. You are here, and that's okay. You're giving your pain permission to exist without letting it control you anymore. You're telling it, you don't get to drive my life or decide how I feel. This simple act of gentle acceptance is where healing starts. Healing doesn't mean the pain disappears or that you forget it ever existed. It means you learn to hold it with kindness, to walk through it with love, and to let it be part of your story without letting it take over. Because true transformation comes not from running away from who we were or what we went through, but from fully embracing all parts of ourselves. The pain, the strength, and everything in between, and becoming the whole, real person we were always meant to be. If what you've heard here touches something deep inside you, a part that maybe has been quiet for a long time, know this. The healing you need has already started. Sometimes, just hearing that you're not alone, that someone understands, can open the first small door toward feeling better. You don't have to carry your pain by yourself or pretend that everything is okay when it's not. This journey of healing is something we all share, even if it feels lonely sometimes. And it's important to remember, you were never meant to walk this path in silence or in hiding. Every time you come back to yourself, to your feelings, your truth, your heart, you are coming home. It might not be easy, and it might take time, but with each return, you grow stronger, clearer, and more whole. Healing isn't a destination. It's a gentle, ongoing process of becoming who you truly are. And here's the most beautiful truth of all. You were never broken. You were simply becoming, unfolding, growing, and learning to shine your light in your own unique way. So keep coming home to yourself, again and again, with kindness and patience, because that is where your true strength lives. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to join our community, a place where we face our pain together, learn to heal, and grow stronger every day. Hit that subscribe button to walk this journey with us, and don't forget to like this video if it helped you feel seen and understood. Your support means more than you know, and together we can create a space of healing, courage, and hope. Let's keep growing, one step at a time.